Couple of years ago, Igbo was one of the few men who commanded wealth in his city. He was an importer, bringing in goods from faraway countries, and people marveled at his success. His warehouses were full, his name echoed in the markets, and he had many young men serving him in business. In Igbo culture, such service was more than work, it was apprenticeship. After years of loyalty, Igbo would settle them, setting them up with their own businesses, a tradition that made him both respected and envied. Most of these boys were his mother's relatives, cousins and nephews, whom he trusted without hesitation. At home, Igbo had a jewel of a wife, Yugo, a graceful woman who had once worked as a nurse. Together they had 4 children, the joy of her life. But after their second child, Igbo insisted she abandon her nursing career. "I make more than enough," he often said, brushing her pleas aside. "What need is there for you to work? Stay home. Raise the children. Be my queen." Yugo tried to reason with him, explaining that nursing was not only about money. It was her passion, her way of keeping her mind alive and her hands useful in service. She even begged to take night shift so she could be home by dawn. But Igbo would not listen. His word was final. And so, with a heavy heart, Yugo gave up her calling and stayed home, quietly nursing her frustration. But Igbo had his flaws. His wealth did not shield him from temptation. After long days in the market, he often stopped at a beer parlor before coming home. Sometimes he returned drunk, reeking of alcohol, his steps heavy and his temper short. Yugo tried to talk to him, urging him to think of his children, to spend more evenings at home instead of drowning in bottles. "My husband," she would say softly, "wealth without peace in the family is nothing." Yet Igbo would wave her off. Worse still, Yugo began to notice that the apprentices he trusted so dearly were stealing from him. Money went missing, goods were sold behind his back, and little by little, his empire began to crack. But when she raised her suspicions, Igbo silenced her. "You are a woman. You know nothing of business. Stop putting your eyes where they don't belong." His voice was sharp, his pride unshaken. The warnings went unheeded. The theft continued, the drinking worsened, and Igbo's ears remained close to the one person who truly wished him well. Until one day, everything he feared but refused to see came crashing to his doorstep. A man to whom Igbo owed a great sum stormed into his shop. His face was dark with rage, his voice loud enough to draw a crowd. "Igbo," he shouted. "You cannot hide from me anymore. My money, where is it?" The apprentices looked away, fear in their eyes. Igbo stood frozen, his mouth dry. For the first time, he felt the weight of the trap he had walked into, the betrayal of those he trusted, the warnings he had ignored, and the silence of the wife he had dismissed too many times. The man's voice thundered through the market, shaking Igbo to his core. "Igbo, you owe me. 4 months you have promised, and still you delay. Do you take me for a fool?" Traders gathered around, whispering. Igbo, once the pride of the market, now stood like a guilty child before his master. His apprentices shuffled their feet, avoiding his gaze. "My friend," Igbo stammered, forcing a smile. "There is no need for this noise. Let us talk like men. Your money is coming. Business has been slow, but I will pay you, I promise." The creditor spat on the ground. "Promise? Your promises cannot feed my children. Pay me today, or I will drag your name through this market until it stinks worse than rotten fish." A hush fell. Igbo's hands trembled, for he knew the truth, his coffers were empty. The boys he trusted had stolen, siphoning money bit by bit until there was nothing left to cover his debts. That evening, he staggered home, weary and defeated. Yugo was waiting, her wrapper tied firmly around her waist, her eyes filled with both worry and quiet reproach. "My husband," she said softly, "you look troubled." "Leave me be, woman," Igbo snapped, collapsing onto the wooden chair. His head dropped into his palms. "You want me, eh? You think you are wiser than me? So now you are happy. Look at me. They shame me in the market like a common thief." Yugo knelt beside him, her voice gentle but firm. "I was never happy to see you fall, Igbo. I only wanted to save you. The boys you trusted more than your own eyes, they are eating you alive. And you," she paused, her voice cracking. "You would not hear me." For once, Egu did not answer. He sat there, his pride deflated. The room was silent except for the muffled laughter of children playing outside.